Practice-based research in the arts can take all manner of forms. When it comes to acting, the primary research site is the human self, and the practice is typically the enactment of scripted characters. In this series of short films, undergraduates from the Department of Theatre, Film and Digital Production here at UC Riverside share with you some of their transformative practice-based research and share why, for them, acting matters.
I had always wanted to do acting as a child, but a lot of people told me it's not practical, you can't make a career out of it. So I kind of took that to heart and was like, okay, I'll go into medicine. And then I still had it in my heart that I wanted to do acting. So I took a drama class in high school as an elective, thinking it would just be a fun stress reliever. But in doing that, my drama teacher actually encouraged me to audition for the after-school plays and everything like that. And doing that, I got really into theater and acting, and I realized that that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, and that I couldn't really imagine myself doing anything else. Once I started taking acting classes and really got into it, I found myself learning more about myself as a person, as an actress, as well as learning more about my abilities to empathize and to put myself in the shoes of other people. Working with certain professors, they encourage us to explore everything healthily, which is something that I previously didn't do before I was at UCR. I was fortunate enough to be able to come here to UCR, where there's student films, there's productions being put on, audition for everything, learn as much as you can, take as many classes as you can, because there's not one right or wrong way to act. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't do it, because if you're passionate about it and it's something that you really want to do it. Let me ask you something. And think about it before you answer me. Was she dead when you took that photo? Was my mom dead? For certain. I know how she looked. I know that. But this friend of yours, who you had so many lunches with, and I was bleeding out on the marble floor, you took that picture. You lived that day. You showed the whole world what happened there. All important stuff, but did you stop for 2 seconds to see if you could help her? My mother. Did you at least put a finger to her neck and check if she had a pulse? Did you at least do that, Mr. Smith?
I feel like theater helped me come out of my shell a lot, for sure. It's definitely something that kind of let me explore my own character while I was exploring these characters that were on paper and in scripts and through these roles. So I just feel like overall I was able to find myself and let my voice be heard. It's helped me grow. A lot of my teachers here at UCR have told me, we're not going to school to become better actors, we're going to school to become better learners that are acting and stuff. So I feel like I've definitely gained a lot of skills that help me do that, and I don't think that's something I would have learned outside of being in the classroom. UCR is a school that chooses productions that aren't, your everyday thing. It's not something I would see in high school. It's not productions that, you would see on Broadway necessarily. This last show we did was Brownface, and something I was able to be a part of. I was actually cast, and it's very Latinx based, and it goes through the journey of what that means, and that's a lens that I've never seen before. And I constantly feel like UCR and the staff at UCR, my professors and stuff, they have been choosing work that's relevant to what's going on today, is how I would put it. And I think UCR honestly just helps me explore those things that I never thought of exploring. There's a lot of joy that comes from acting, and I think that's experienced the most when you're not holding yourself back and you're really comfortable out there, which is easier said than done. Sometimes people feel like they're making a fool out of yourself, but really it's just about taking that step. And once you're there, you'd be surprised at what you'll discover about yourself and about the world.
8 months, sir. It is 8 months now. She used to serve me in my house, sir. A man may think God sleeps, but God sees everything. I know it now. I pray you, sir, see her for what she is. My wife, my dear, good wife, being what she is, took her in soon after and put her out on the high road. And being who she is, a lump of vanity, sir. Forgive me, Excellency. Forgive me, for she thinks to dance with me upon my wife's grave, and well she might, for I thought of her softly. God help me! I lusted, and there is promise in such sweat, but it is a whore's vengeance, and you must see it now. I pray you, sir. I put my entire life in your hands. You must see it now. My wife is innocent. Except she knows a harlot when she sees one.
Acting was something that my parents just never wanted me to try. Even when applying for colleges, I wasn't allowed to apply as a theater major. I applied as a political science major. But something happened that senior year of high school when I got on stage, and I just fell in love with it. And I told myself that even if it's going to be a hard rest of my life, I know an actor's life isn't exactly perfect and glamorous, but as long as that's what I'm working towards, I'm okay with it being hard for now. I am very insanely grateful for UCR for giving me so many opportunities to show what I could do as an actress, as an Asian actress, and not being seen only as, you know, my labels. And UCR has given me so many opportunities to just show the world that, like, I'm here, we're all here, and most of all, it's made me feel very welcomed. And I've never had to step into an audition and worry about, you know, how I looked. And I'm just overall very, very grateful for that. If I had advice to myself when I came here my freshman year, my advice would be don't be scared. I have never felt more welcome than I do here at UCR, whether it be like students or staff or professors. You know, I've never felt out of place or like I didn't belong in a certain clique or anything like that. I just felt, you know, I could talk to anyone. And even as a freshman, when I was scared coming in here and being timid, everyone was just so open to getting to know me, and they're like that with everyone. And hopefully that tradition carries on. I'm trying my best now as a third year. So my advice is don't be scared. The real reason you go to Vietnam is because you accidentally see your soon-to-be ex-husband kiss someone else. At first you think, oh, it's a party and they're drunk. It doesn't really matter. But then you see him put his hand on the small of her back, exactly the same way he used to do to you. And you remember that it means, I got you. And you realize that he will never do that to you again. And your heart breaks. It breaks even though you thought your heart was so broken it couldn't possibly break even further, but somehow it finds a way. Because even though this is what you wanted, now that you've got it, you're completely adrift with no sense of where to go or what to do, so you go to Vietnam. Because you think maybe you'll find a sense of belonging or a connection to something bigger, but you just feel even more lost than you did before you came. But you survive. You survive being alone.
As like a queer person growing up, like it was always a fear of like getting backlash from like telling a single person or telling a loved one your experience with XYZ. But if you tell everyone, you tell an audience of people, no one's gonna get mad at you, right? Like the ratio of people who are gonna say something to your face, say something mean to your face, or say something nice to your face, that ratio is just balanced weirdly, like compared to a one-on-one conversation with someone, especially someone that you know. And I've had some really great opportunities over the past 3 years with, particularly with Asian Americans of Riverside Theater as a member, and this year as the co-president. Specifically, we've had opportunities to show off the Asian American perspective and what Western media does to Asian Americans and what we do to Western media and just the different ways that we imprint on each other. And I've been really grateful for those opportunities. I think they're really, really important, really, really cool. What I would say to someone who's just getting into the program or the degree or just acting in general, just do it. You know, I think if you have a choice that's big, do it, and then do it even bigger than you think it's going to be. You have nothing to lose. If you are too big, don't worry, someone will tell you. And that doesn't just go for acting, like an acting choice in a scene or a play or a movie, anything like that. And I think that just also goes towards your attitude, towards the craft, towards performing. Fortune favors the bold, so just be bold.
Me. I am wearied to death. My royal friend has an uncountable taste. What can I say about a king who's so passionately fond of chasing unprofitable quadrupeds? There runs an antler, there goes a bull. Such is our only conversation. Even at noon, when it is excessive heat and not a tree in the forest has a shadow under it, we must be skipping and prancing about like the beast whom we follow. Are we thirsty? We have only the drinks from mountain torrents, which taste of burned stone and mawkish leaves. Are we hungry? We must greedily devour lean venison, which is commonly roasted to a stick. Have I a moment's repose at night? My slumber is disturbed by the din of horses and elephants, or by the sons of slave girls hooting out, "More venison! More venison!" Then comes a cry that pierces my ear. Away to the forest, away! Oh, there he is advancing. Oh, I must begin my operations. Thus, let me take a moment's rest.
You know, it's kind of like when an artist finds a paintbrush and they finally put it on a canvas. It's like it completes the photo, you know, it completes the picture. And I feel like for me, that's what theater was. It completed my picture in my future and in my life. So, you know, I think it shaped me a lot as a person, as a student, as a future actress, hopefully one day. And I hope that, you know, I can continue to learn and grow as all those things through theater. UCR has contributed a lot to that. I mean, they provide so many opportunities to be able to perform and to be able to be creative in any type of outlet through theater. You know, they have clubs here, they have, you know, plays going on, so many things are happening, and they literally provide just so many things for you to be able to express your art or create your art or do whatever you want to put your art forward. So I think they've shaped a lot of me as well, because going to from a school that I've been before, not having that much of an outlet and not being able to have that many opportunities, being put somewhere that you are given opportunities, you want to take those opportunities as much as you can. And I am so thankful that UCR does, because I have performed in many club, you know, school, you know, volunteer work and things that I never thought I would be able to do if I wasn't here at UCR. So that was, you know, they've shaped my, not only my career, but also me as a student here as well, because like it's been awesome as a theater student to have that many opportunities and be given that many opportunities. When I was a kid, I was different, not like most kids. I was talkative, loud, and a bit dramatic. But when you go with 3 other siblings and you're stuck in the middle, who wouldn't be? All my life, I was told that the way I wasn't acceptable. She needs to learn not to talk. She needs to learn not to be so energetic. She needs to learn how to be a good little girl. And all of my life, I wanted to be a good little girl, and whatever that entailed. But I couldn't. I couldn't hide the funny, silly, wild girl inside. Just like my parents couldn't hide their disappointing faces when I got in trouble. And I thought something was wrong with me. and I thought I was weird. But then I realized I'm not. And the reason why is because I got into a theater class. When I got into this theater class, I had realized that being talkative was okay, being loud was just projecting, and being a bit dramatic, well, that was expected. And it changed me. I was able to be myself. I was able to be 100% me. And I was excited and I was happy, especially when the disappointing faces faded away and turned into accepting smiles. Theater had become a home for me and that little girl I hid for so many years. And I was never going to leave it. And as I got older and I got to adulthood, I was grateful because I knew exactly where I wanted my life to go. I knew exactly the path that I wanted to go down. But I never thought I would find it twice. I wanted to be a theater teacher and give students and young people a place where they can just be themselves and experiment and have fun and just be kids and without judgment. I wanted to change the way society views creative people, and this was going to be how. Creating that space or creating that home. And if I was able to provide that for somebody else, then I would have everything in life could offer. And theater would be the one to provide that for me. Theater would be the one to give that to me. And so much more. Thank you.
I first got into theater when I was in middle school. There was a San Francisco Shakespeare Festival offered, and I was forced to get in, actually. My sister wanted to get in, and my parents were like, I don't want to pick you guys up at 2 times, so you join it too. So we can pick you guys up at the same time. I was like, okay. So then I joined, and I actually ended up loving it. That was in 6th grade, so I ended up doing it my 7th and 8th, and then it was history ever since. I think I was the most shy kid you'll ever meet, ever. I never spoke to anyone. My emotions were bottled up inside of me. I never wanted to talk about anything I was feeling. I was very introverted, and it was bad because I would have a lot of breakdowns by myself before acting. I was very different. Theater changed my entire personality, my entire person, me as a human being. It really shaped my life and who I am today, 100%. My professors, their minds are incredible. The things they say completely switched up acting for me as a whole. Something specifically, I think Professor Kimberly Guerrero said, she said, we aren't actors, we're storytellers. That switched up the entire thing. It made me forget about the industry. It made me forget about all my fears of walking into the industry as a Black woman. I am here to tell a story, whether it's acting, directing, writing, editing, sound, anything, theater or film. I'm telling a story that I want to tell about myself or the people I love that's close to me, or something I've heard before, or just a script I get. I'm telling a story. I'm not trying to be an actress. I'm not trying to be a director. I'm just trying to speak to an audience and have them feel compelled and just have them feel something as much as I feel something. I'll tell you what I know. I've watched you trip over your own 2 dusty feet to heal the sick, the lame, the blind, the unclean. Any 2-bit stranger stub their fucking toe. When some lowly distant relative, suddenly too cheap to buy enough wine for their own fucking wedding, suddenly runs out of booze, no problem. You just presto changeo in this fucking Canaan and old Miller time again, wasn't it, bro? But when I needed you, where the fuck were you, huh? You forgave Peter and bullshit Thomas. You knocked the Paul of Tarsus off of a horse. You raised Lazarus from the fucking dead. But me? Your heart? Me? What about me, Jesus, huh? You just... I made a mistake. And if that was wrong, you should have told me. And if a broken heart was a sufficient reason to hang, you should have told me that too.
Before I started acting, I felt really lost. Like I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and so when I was a senior in high school, I was really struggling to find myself and to find kind of like purpose. I deal with a pretty mild to medium speech impediment. With time, I'm able to, I guess, make my speech impediment less noticeable, which to me is good, because I've always lived with the constant, I guess, fear of being judged and being just cast aside because people think that I can't talk. I've been told that, and I'm like, I just need like more time. UCR has had the greatest impact on my acting. They have given me a chance to express myself through acting. They've really helped me gain a better understanding of myself through their work and through what they are passing down to us. Let me ask you something, though. Think about it before you answer me. Before you go, was my mom dead when you took that photo? Was she dead? For certain? I know how she looked. I know that, but this friend you ate so many lunches with, and they lay there bleeding out on the marble floor. You took that photo. You lived that day. You showed the whole world what was going on there. But you couldn't have taken 2 seconds to see if she needed help. My mother. Did you at least take your finger and put it on her neck to check her pulse? Did you at least do that, Mr. Smith? Did you?
Before taking acting classes, I was definitely more of a recluse person when it came to stating my opinions or just being an outgoing person in general. I would always want to make friends, but I would never really speak my mind or really show my true personality. After taking acting classes, I realized that a lot of my personality is as good as it's gonna get, but I feel like there was a lot more that I discovered about myself, such as the fact that I definitely do like to be the center of attention, but I also want to make an impact, and I want people to hear what I'm saying and learn from it and maybe take advice from it, and it not always just be, I'm talking too much. You know, I want people to be inspired at some point during a conversation with me. So I definitely feel like I just shifted as far as becoming accepting of my past experiences and realizing that without them it would not make me the performer I am today. Acting at UCR has changed me a lot because I wasn't able to do many performances going into college, and so once I got to UCR and I was finally able to meet more groups of people who are like me and enjoy theater and enjoy performance like I do, it definitely just opened me up and made me more inspired and made me want to continue on doing what I love, and even helped me figure out some ideas for things that I want to do in the future. The advice I would give to my peers before starting anything is just to be yourselves, be true to yourself, and really know that this is something that you want to do. Performing, it's been in my blood since I was 2 years old. Now, it would annoy some of my other family members when I would dance and sing around the living room, but my dad would always encourage it. My first time realizing that I enjoyed performing was in the 3rd grade.
when my school put on a production for us to do a song and dance to Jingle Bell Rock. Now, I had originally signed up to dance, but something in the back of my mind kept telling me that I needed to sing. And so last minute, I switched from dancing to singing, and I have not regretted that decision ever since. I took choir in middle school for all 3 years, and I went to high school and started taking dance classes. And by 10th grade, I was officially a triple threat performing arts student: singing, dancing, and acting. And it wasn't until about my junior year that I realized that acting was my true calling. See, I started taking these acting classes in college, and I started meeting with other people, and I realized how much performing is a part of me. Those classes changed my life. And now I realize that my true calling is to inspire and be there to teach the next generation. See, my end goal is to teach acting, performance, because we all need a little performance in our life. Life isn't complete without a little drama.